Welcome back to Busy Pro Fast Wellness. I'm your host, Alan Welsh, and today we're talking about something we all experience: fear. Not the kind that comes from physical danger, but the kind that holds us back from reaching our full potential. As Eleanor Roosevelt famously said, "Do one thing every day that scares you." And that's exactly what we're going to explore today. Another quote that also resonates is from Mark Twain. Courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear. It's not about being fearless, it's about facing the fear head on. I know we all have those tasks that we procrastinate on, not because they're hard, but because they trigger some type of fear. It might be asking for a raise, pitching a new idea, or giving a presentation at work. It's that feeling of stepping outside our comfort zone, facing the unknown. That's what makes us feel really worried and scared. But here's the thing. Growth only happens once we step outside of our comfort zone. And often, the things we fear the most are the very things that will lead to the greatest rewards. So, how do we overcome this fear and take action? Today, I am going to give a few strategies that I really hope will help you. I know that some of these help me for sure. Strategy number 1 is really just to recognize the fear. The first step is to acknowledge the fear. Don't try to suppress it or pretend it's not there. Ask yourself, what am I afraid of? Is it the fear of rejection? The fear of failure? The fear of looking foolish? Naming that fear just takes away some of that fear, the power of that fear anyway. So the power then diminishes. The second idea is to break it down. What do I mean by that? Well, often this fear stems from some perceived enormity, the enormity of the task. If we can break the task down into smaller, more manageable steps, instead of thinking about giving a full presentation, just focus on writing the opening paragraph. Or instead of thinking about asking for a huge raise, focus on researching salary data so that you're more equipped when you go in and ask for that raise. The third idea is to, and this is very important, is to set a deadline. This is something that I always do anyway. I always have a deadline, and that really helps me. So procrastination thrives on ambiguity. So by setting a firm deadline, this creates a sense of urgency and forces you to take action. This has been scientifically shown to help with productivity. Tell yourself, I will begin this task on this date. I will complete this task by this date and time. Even better is to tell someone else about your deadline. And this, in turn, creates accountability. And being held accountable does really help. Again, I have experience of this. And when I'm not held accountable, I don't do the tasks that I had originally planned to do, in many cases anyway. I'm moving swiftly on to idea number 4. We've talked about this concept before in a very early podcast, I believe, and it is visualize success. So instead of focusing on the worst case scenario, visualize yourself succeeding. Imagine yourself delivering that confident presentation, having a productive conversation with your boss, or receiving positive feedback. This can help to build your confidence and reduce anxiety. And we're already on number 5. There are 6 of these in total. And number 5 is embrace the discomfort. Yes, that old chestnut. Stepping outside your comfort zone is extremely uncomfortable. Accept that you'll feel some level of anxiety. Don't wait for the fear to disappear, because it probably won't. Take action despite the fear. And the more that you do this, the easier it will become. And this really is the case. I, again, have experience of this. From doing some gigs in the past, having to play first trumpet on Handel's Messiah when I really didn't feel comfortable. When it comes to classical orchestral gigs, I am a second or a third trumpet player. I don't want to take the lead. I just don't feel that comfortable in that setting. And I've had to do that on several occasions in the past. And then suddenly you're thrust into this situation of having to deal with the stress. And so experience there. And the final idea of the day, which is really important and it really helps, this is to celebrate small wins. Acknowledge and celebrate every step you take towards facing your fear. This reinforces positive behavior and it also builds momentum. Even celebrating a small task can give you a sense of accomplishment and motivate you to keep going. Remember, fear is a natural part of life. It's not about eliminating fear, but about learning to manage it and using this fear as a catalyst for growth. By recognizing your fears, breaking down your tasks, setting deadlines, visualizing that success, embracing your discomfort, and celebrating those small wins, you can conquer procrastination and unlock your full potential. As the American writer and philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Do the things you fear, and the death of fear is certain." So take that step today. Get out there and face those fears. That's all for this episode of Busy Pro Fast Wellness. I hope you found these tips useful. If you think anybody else would appreciate these tips, please share this episode with them. Until next time, face your fears and keep moving forward. Goodbye for now.